be interesting if I were to embarrass Jamie Anderson with a fab fact of my own about him. Is that okay, Jamie?
Not really, no.
Well, I've been doing a little bit of research and I came across this particular story, so let's see if this rings any bells.
Is this a PG story?
Yeah, just about, yeah. Now, so I think we've all been in a position, haven't we, where we've spent some time talking to someone famous without quite knowing who they are. But how's this for embarrassing? Now, we all know that Jamie and his dad before him were heavily involved with raising funds for dementia charities. Well, at a Christmas event, to help raise money for the cause, Jamie found himself introduced to a rather nervous-looking young lady who he'd apparently met before and had been asked to sing as part of their Christmas choir. "Hello," said Jamie kindly. "How are you?" "I'm feeling terrible," the young woman replied. "I'm so nervous that I've been sitting in my car in the car park, literally crying on the phone to my mum with fear because I have to sing." Well, trying to cheer her up, Jamie thought he'd offer some words of wisdom to the young lady. "Oh, don't worry," he said. "We're all behind you. It's all for a great cause. I'm sure you're not used to appearing in public, but you'll be fine. No, just take a deep breath and try not to think about all those people watching. I know it can be a bit intimidating when you're not used to being in the limelight." Well, the young woman gave him a very strange look and was then called away to play her part in the proceedings, being introduced by the compere as BAFTA and Critics' Choice Award-winning, twice Oscar-nominated, the internationally renowned Hollywood actress, Carey Mulligan. Jamie, how do you plead?
Guilty but prepared to retaliate.
What?
We all have our sources, Richard. Now, Podsterons, we all know Richard James as the mild-mannered, butter wouldn't melt in his mouth co-host of this very Gerry Anderson podcast. But did you know that according to a certain Space Precinct director, he's an absolute dunce? In fact, that isn't even the word that he used, but I had to tone it down for you today. In fact, it's the worst name you could ever call someone in polite company. As you know, Richard played Officer Orin in Space Precinct, and he never mentions that, so I, understand if you didn't know that already. He's often mentioned to me how lucky he was to get the part and how grateful he feels for his year's work at Pinewood in the 1990s, but clearly by the end of that year, he was getting a little blasé about playing a prominent and regular role in the most expensive TV series of the time. You might know that actors are often presented with script amendments in the days before shooting a scene, and sometimes even on the day itself. They're normally distributed by the third assistant director, and it's up to the actor to look at the new scenes and learn any new lines that they might have been given. Well, by the time he came to shoot the last episode of the series, Death Watch Part 2, it seems Richard wasn't really taking things very seriously at all. When it came to filming a particular part of the episode in the station house, Richard suddenly realised that he was literally not in the same page as the rest of the cast. Turns out that Richard received his script amendments the day before, but thinking they wouldn't apply to him, he ignored them completely. You can imagine that if an actor doesn't know his lines, that slows things down. It slows the whole process down, costing the production time and money. By now, tempers among the cast and crew were clearly fraying, so you'd hope that Richard would hold his hands up and admit his mistake and apologise profusely. But no! In fact, he blamed the third assistant director, Paul Morris, claiming that he'd never been given the amendments in the first place. Suffice it to say that the veteran director, Piers Haggard, saw through this straight away and in front of the whole crew called Richard a lazy dunce. Richard James, how do you plead?
Guilty as charged.